Welcome to Better Coffee. I'm Joey.
I'm Jamie.
Jamie, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking from our dear neighbors, Mama Mocha's in Alabama, Kochere from Ethiopia. I love Mama Mocha's.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now. I love them.
A great coffee shop.
I love them. I love them.
Got a couple locations in Auburn and Opelika, sister town. What are you getting from this cup?
Oh, what am I getting from this cup? I am not even joking right now. Like I'm getting like red and purple Skittles. You get that?
Maybe red Skittles, but not purple Skittles.
Wait till it cools down. You'll get the purple Skittles.
Okay. It's a little buttery.
That's the purple Skittles.
Is that the flavor they are? Is butter?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They got butter inside.
All right.
But yeah, you get very fruity and cherry just even before you sip on it.
Definitely.
I like that. I like when they write in the bag what it actually is.
What does it taste like? So what does it say? The flavor notes.
It says
it's cherry and lemon.
Body creamy.
Ooh, buttery.
Oh, you're good. Flavor cherry and lemon. Skittles. Acidity sparkling.
Oh.
You see, that's pretty accurate.
I would agree. I would agree with all those flavor notes.
I agree.
So check out Mama Mocha's.
Yeah.
You can order their stuff online. Check out their website. You can get that coffee, get it delivered to your door.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll be fresh roasted, which is very important.
Yes. And I've never seen a more excited group of baristas.
No, they're great. They're great.
fantastic.
They're helpful. They make great coffee there. And they're happy to serve coffee, which is,
awesome.
I'll say, a refreshing change from what I've seen lately.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I enjoy going. I drove 45 minutes just to buy coffee.
Me too.
From them.
Me too.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
Today, we want to talk about Coffee Brewing 101. So, we don't want to
going to school.
We're going to school. We're going to school. Bust out your pencils, people. We are going to school. So, we don't want to have a science class, but we just want to cover fundamentals. To understand, I would say 4 keys.
Yeah, 4 keys to making really good coffee at home.
Really good coffee at home. That's basically it. We're just going to try to cover them superficially, just to understand the basics.
Yeah.
And we can go from there.
And then you can keep doing more research on it like I have on the internet. Get books on it. You can continue to do more research, but hopefully this is a start for you to make better coffee at home.
Yeah.
So what are the let's talk about the main methods of brewing coffee. We have drip coffee. We have pour over, French press.
We have espresso.
It's his wheelhouse.
Espresso, man.
Espresso's hard to do.
That's steam in the morning. It's like friggin' astronaut going to space.
I think there's an espresso machine called a rocket too.
Yeah. Oh, those are nice. Those are nice. Made in Milan. Everything from Milan is good. You know it.
So, let's just skip over drip coffee. Because I think, as we discussed before, the normal coffee maker that you have at home is going to it's just not going to make coffee the right way.
No.
The best way that you can make it. So, let's go to the second part, to pour over.
Pour over.
So, what examples of pour over do we have here? We just got a couple, probably the most common.
Okay. So, we got Kalita Wave. And we have what's known as the V60 by Hario. So these are very similar because it's 2 methods of pour over, but they're different. Just to give you an example, if you notice, this pour over method has a flat bottom with 3 small holes. It's a cone, like a funnel, but flat bottom. In the case of V60, is more of a cone. It ends quite smaller, no flat bottom like this one. So they each one have their differences, but they're both made with water poured into them, paper filter, but they're really economical, just options you could have and try them out.
And really, some of the best coffee in the world is made with those 2 devices.
Oh, yeah.
And they're very economical. You can get them on Amazon for $20.
Yeah. I would say the Kalita is, I think, the friendliest if you're beginning.
It's very friendly.
Yeah.
It's very user friendly. It's very forgiving.
Yes.
The Hario can be a little more finicky.
Yeah, but you can experiment with it once you get the hang of it.
I personally like the Hario.
Yeah.
But so then, what's next? We have French press.
We have French press, which I would think it's the most popular. Thanks to IKEA and TV series and all those things.
Yeah, apart from drip coffee, probably the manual brew method that people are familiar with is French press.
And that's one option. I'm not a fan of it. You get a lot of muddiness and murkiness.
Yeah, you get a little more body out of the cup than you would with something with a paper filter. So if that's your thing, you can
try
go for it.
Yeah,
go for it. And then lastly, espresso.
The only thing with espresso, as much as I love it, if you want to have espresso at home, to get a decent cup of espresso and up, it usually requires you to spend a little bit more money.
Quite a bit more money.
That's the only thing. A quality machine, even a budget-friendly quality machine, it's a bit pricey. Then you would need the grinder, so that's more money. So it could get a little pricey. That's the only thing. But we're going to walk you through the options you have.
Yeah.
From pretty nice, economical, to really nice and expensive.
But the sad thing is it's not really even that expensive.
It's not expensive. And it'll pay off in a week, trust me. You'll have more friends than you've ever had once you get it.
So then the keys to making good coffee at home. We're going to probably refer to the pour-over method and a lot of these keys just because that's usually the standard, and then you can kind of experiment once you familiarize yourself with the keys to making good coffee. You can transfer that to to French press, to espresso, even to drip coffee if you wanted.
Yeah.
But we're just going to refer to it with pour over because that's usually the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
So the first one is going to be fresh ground coffee.
Fresh ground coffee.
Why is that so important, Jamie?
Well, a lot of people say, well, why do I need to grind my coffee if I could get it already ready to go? Ground coffee at the store.
Save money on a grinder.
That's true. It makes sense. And you can get already coffee ready to go. But if you grind your coffee every time you're going to make it, you'll have fresh coffee.
Yeah.
Because every time you ground coffee, it breaks down molecules and it starts oxidizing. So the moment you grind the coffee, it starts losing flavors. Little by little. Little by little. So that's why coffee is I guess, made at the moment type of recipe. You grind it, you brew it, you drink it. That's how you do it. So that's why it's best to grind your coffee. And following that is also the grind size. Each brewing method has a certain size. And just to give you an example, the coarser the grind, we can compare it to rocks.
Pebbles.
Pebbles, the more water will flow through it. And the finer the brewing,
like sand,
the grinding size, we can compare it to sand. Less water, you'll have more resistance. So it'll take longer for the water to draw out those flavors. Yeah. So that's just kind of basically cover it.
Yeah, and then with coarser, you have less surface area.
Yes.
Which is where you're going to extract most of the flavor from, because with coffee you don't have a lot of time to penetrate the grounds because it just ends up becoming too bitter. And then with finer, there's just way more surface area. So you're going to extract a lot more flavors.
Exactly. So there's nothing wrong with either one. It's just that each brewing method
requires
a grind size.
Exactly.
That's it.
So when it comes to pour over, you're going to usually go somewhere in between to a medium grind or medium coarse. Just depends. And so when you get a grinder, you can start experimenting and familiarize yourself with, okay, this is coarse, this is fine, I want somewhere in between. Yeah. And you can experiment with that. And what's going to help is when you learn your coffee to water ratio. And so that would be the second key to making good coffee.
Yeah.
So the water to coffee ratio. When it comes to pour over, we're basically talking minimum. Right. Yes. Minimum 1 to 19. So 1 gram of coffee to 19 grams of water, to maximum 1 gram of coffee to 15 grams of water. So between like a 119 to 115 coffee to water ratio. Yeah. And how you figure that out, you get a scale.
Yeah, a scale is an important tool.
Important tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once you kind of figure all that out, like, oh, I like this coffee in a 1:16 ratio. That's usually what I brew in, and it just becomes second nature at that point.
Yeah, and once you get or once you understand the ratios, each brewing method again has its own recipe, its own ratio. So when you understand, okay, if I'm going to do a pour over, this is the ratio, this is the range. So within that range, you could play a little bit according to the coffee, according to your mood, and you could play with that to get something else from that cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So in each one, you'll have a different range, and you can play with that. Yeah.
So then moves us to our next key, which is temperature.
Temperature. So again, each brewing method, like a recipe, has a certain temperature. In the case of pour over, because the water is just sitting on that coffee and just extracting slowly, it will have a certain temperature. When you think about espresso, where that hot water is pushing through with a lot of pressure through that really fine ground coffee, it will have a different temperature. And that's all we're going to say about that for now.
So for me, when you're making pour over, you're going to have between 195 to 205 Fahrenheit. Water boils at like 212 round. And that's just too hot for coffee. I think espresso is a little cooler because you're using pressure. You have more surface area.
And it's quicker.
It's quicker. Whereas you brew a cup of coffee in, how long? 3 minutes?
Yeah, depending on the
recipe.
Method, yeah.
And that, I guess that's the fourth key is brew time.
Yeah. The brew time. And some call it the extraction.
Extraction time.
The extraction time. So that's basically all that water and the temperature you have chosen and all that coffee with the grind size you have chosen just sitting together dancing. Just
a beautiful waltz.
Beautiful waltz and making you that cup of coffee. So in each one, depending on the temperature, depending on the grind size, because everything's connected, that will help you determine how long does that coffee need to sit in that water to give you all the flavors you want without giving you that bitterness or that burnt taste and all those good things.
So for me, when I'm brewing a pour over, it's usually between 2.5 minutes to 3.5 minutes. Sometimes longer if I'm doing a Chemex or something like that. Usually it's a little longer. French press, I've always seen people say 4 minutes. That's the time. I've heard people make their French press in 8 minutes.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I've heard it's really good.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know if I trust that. But then espresso shot is made in how long?
It's seconds.
Yeah.
Seconds. It could be 30 seconds, 15 seconds, depending, single, double. But yeah, it's literally seconds.
Yeah.
That's all.
So familiarizing yourself with roundabout extraction times for each method of brewing is really important. Then you can kind of work within those parameters to find the cup of coffee that you like the most. So again, in recapping, the 4 main keys is fresh ground coffee.
And grind size.
And grind size.
Kind of in one.
Yeah, that's the one. We'll make that one.
Yeah.
Fresh ground coffee and grind size. Water to coffee ratio.
Then we have
temperature
and
extraction
time.
So those 4 keys. If you can get those 4 keys, you've mastered coffee brewing 101.
Simple as that.
Simple
not
as
rocket
that.
science. It's not rocket. We can all do it. We can all do it.
I can do it. If I can do it,
everyone can do it.
Everyone can do it, okay? I have a basic high school education, okay? So I can brew coffee at home. Yeah. So can you.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science? You said the espresso on its face.
That is a good point.
Sounds like it's going this way.
The espresso machine sounds like it's a rocket ship.
It's not a rocket.
It's not rocket science.
No. So let's talk about our suggestions. We're going to make suggestions for what you can buy to make better coffee at home.
And all those links, because we don't have graphics yet.
No, we're not that fancy.
No,
we don't know rocket science.
Someday.
Later.
But all those links will be down in the description, so you can check them out. And hopefully, it'll be of some help.
So for me, I'm going to go budget. Just bare bones what you can get. And you can order all this stuff on Amazon.
Okay.
So, first of all is a Hario V60. you can get a ceramic one or a plastic one if you want to save a little money. Plastic one's around $7. A ceramic one's around 20. Plastic one you don't have to worry about breaking, but if you don't like plastic and hot stuff, I understand that. Whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, so there you go. $7 to $20 for a Hario V60. Next thing you need is a grinder.
Yes.
So, budget. You can get a Hario hand mill, I think they call it. It's a skirtin or a thin, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a hand grinder. You can get that for like $35. It'll make
good.
fresh ground coffee, but it just requires you to sit there and grind it, and it takes a while. If you want to go on the high end of that, you can get a electric grinder. I would say probably the cheapest you want to go
Okay.
is a Baratza Encore.
Ooh. Famous.
Yeah.
Famous home grinders.
Yeah, famous for making home grinders that perform almost as good as commercial grinders.
Yeah, I've heard awesome reviews.
Yeah. I have a Baratza at home. It's great. I love it. Wouldn't trade it for anything else. But their entry level one is an Encore. You can get that for about $140.
That's pretty good.
It's not terrible. It sounds like a lot of money, but once you start researching grinders, you'll find that it's not.
And let's be honest. I mean, most of you have bought a pair of jeans around that price. Come on.
I don't know if I have them. Not as fancy.
I know they have.
Okay.
I know.
So you can get actually $130. $130. I just saved you $10.
That's not good.
So then next,
Click on the coupon down.
It's not a coupon. I misspoke. Anyway,
Make your better coffee huge. That's the coupon.
so next will be a scale.
Yes.
So a scale.
That is very important.
I think for the most part I've gone mostly all Hario stuff.
Yeah, you have a nice budget roster there.
Yeah. So Hario makes a coffee scale. It has a timer built in. It measures in grams. It's great to use. $45. You can get that on Amazon. And last but not least is a gooseneck kettle. If you want to just get crazy, which I mean, I don't even have one, and I want one. Hopefully we can keep making these videos so I can get one. Afford to get one.
We will.
It is a fellow stag. And those things are beautiful.
Just beautiful. Everything they do, it's beautiful.
A fellow does, yeah.
It's very, very aggravating.
And they make a temperature control kettle. It's like $150, but man, it's beautiful. It makes great coffee. But if you want to go budget, Bonavita makes one that's like $65, and it's temperature controlled, which is very important when you're making pour overs. So my budget-friendly setup comes out to a total of $260.
That's not bad.
That's not bad, because consider how much you pay in a coffee shop for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
You're gonna save that much money by making it at home in less than a year, and you're gonna make way better coffee. I guarantee you, or at least as good coffee as they're making in that coffee shop.
Oh, you will. You will.
So that's my suggestion.
Okay.
For pour over. Now with you, you're gonna talk about espresso.
Espresso. Yes. So, again, espresso gets pricey really quick. So I have just a few suggestions to get in there. Get in there in the espresso realm. So, first off, Rancello Silvia. It's a pretty nice espresso machine. It's Italian, so that always conveys a sense of trust. Italy products, man. They know how to make espresso-related gear.
Is that really made in Italy?
Good point. Maybe it's not made in Italy. Maybe the brand is Italian, but it's made in Vietnam or China.
I don't know.
Anyway, the point is, I've seen them in action. I've tried them. I know friends that have them. They were fantastic. They steamed the milk fantastic for such an unassuming machine. But more importantly, they're around $600. You can get them for around $600. That for a decent espresso machine, it's not bad.
Right.
$600 is not bad. Another option is the Breville. That's how you say it?
Breville.
Yeah. That's another option.
Here's how I've heard it described.
Okay, go.
The Breville is an appliance.
Okay.
Whereas, like, the Sylvia or other espresso machines are machines.
Okay.
So
That's a good way to put it.
It's an appliance. It'll make good espresso,
Yeah.
but it's just not going to be as
Okay.
nice.
See, my thing with that is not even backed up by any convincing proof. I just really don't associate plastic with good espresso.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's as simple as that. Plastic parts and espresso don't mix for my personal taste.
Yeah.
And again, that's an option. For the grinder, we have the Baratza Sette. The same company that makes those budget-friendly grinders for pour-over. They have another grinder. Beautiful grinder. Beautiful design. It's called Sette. It's not very expensive. It's like $400.
Which for an espresso grinder is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It does great espresso grinder.
I've read really good reviews that if you're making espresso, that holds its own. I've seen it in small coffee shops.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that grinder in small coffee shops. So those are just some options. Eventually, in future episodes, hopefully we'll get to do some shootouts with some of our gear we have personally, and some gear that we will eventually have for free.
Maybe. We'll see.
But we will.
We're talking to you companies out there that want to sponsor us.
Anytime. But hopefully you'll see them in action. We'll have fun with them so you can see what they do. But those are just some suggestions to get you started.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Coffee Brewing 101. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment to our YouTube channel. All the links are going to be in the description for everything we just described. Like us on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Our page 2 Better Coffee.
Yes, sir. And next week. What are we talking next week? Oh, boy. Donuts! Yeah! Cut!
See you guys next week.
Woo!